Good afternoon, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am your ever-loving host, Shorty, and I do my Tuesday afternoon review of just random thing that I found that's cool because I'm about to go home. Because unlike the last week and the week before where I had nothing to do and last week where I had nothing to do, I'm just doing a normal day today. Today, reviewing Stray Dogs. That is not the cover A, that's cover B because I quite like it. I think more people should get these kind of covers, they're awesome. And it's an Image Comics one. Basically, well, I was going to say about anthropomorphic dogs. It's not quite right. They are still very doggy, like 100% dog. In fact, like it's hard to imagine being any more dog. But they seem to have a level of intelligence that goes a little bit beyond humanity. Sorry, beyond caninity. And it's dealing specifically with one dog who has gone through some kind of trauma. And she goes to a rescue house where there's other dogs who basically she meets and talks about it. Not much else really goes on in issue 1, but I do not think that's a bad thing. I think when you're doing a mystery, something like a comic book like this, or any kind of story like this, what you don't want is to telegraph everything in the first issue. You want to set up, you want to get a basic idea of who the characters are, and you want what the peril means and how there might be a chance that it could be solved. That's all I was looking for, and that's what I got. In fact, I got a little bit extra, so this one goes in a win column. I don't think I'm going to my pull list because there's something about the artwork which, although it's very, very brave, isn't quite for me. And that's because when you are looking at general humans in this comic book, although there's really not many pictures of them, so it's kind of hard to say, they are drawn, not like photorealistic or anything, but they're drawn as just natural-looking human beings. They're not particularly cartoony, there's no over-top caricatures or anything like that. But then when you meet the actual dogs, it's like a Disney cartoon. And yeah, that looks good. Cannot fault the quality of artwork, the dedication to it. There's some really nice set pieces where they have almost like a dog holding court there, and you get to see all of them's little heads over to one side and the ears flopping down. Attention's been put in there, and it does look great. But it's just, as a personal thing, it's just not something I quite like. It feels like it's at this point in the story, it feels like he's not doing a good job to underscore the peril. And it kind of takes me out of it a little bit. Now, some people, and I think this is a perfectly valid idea, could see this as just, well, it's a great way of showing that no matter who you are or what you are, there is going to be danger, and how people perceive you could actually change the way they perceive the danger you're in, but the danger could still be real. And it's like, cool, that could be a great point that they're trying to make. Absolutely no problem with it. Still, it's not my cup of tea, I'm afraid. It feels like it's selling just a little bit short a great idea. And again, not to say it's not really well done. The artist is fantastic. I think if they were doing an actual Disney style comic book, it would be amazing. They've got it absolutely down perfectly. There's something about the eyes, and I say the ears and the tails, all the little things that make Disney dogs look amazing is all in there. Very, very talented. It's not for me. The story is where it kind of shines, though, because it deals with the idea, and it actually does mention it in the book, of how good dogs are at remembering things. As someone who owns a dog, my dog definitely remembers me, and she remembers her name and a few simple commands, but sometimes she can totally forget that she can't quite jump onto the leather sofa when it's a recliner. When it's up, she'll jump onto that bit, and she's too heavy and it'll fall down and she'll look all confused. Even though she's done that a few times now, she doesn't seem to quite grasp that one. But in this particular instance, we're dealing with the idea of a dog's gone through trauma. In this particular case, it's the fact that her owner was supposedly murdered, and she's basically getting flashbacks to it throughout her life, this little dog, including believing now that the person who has rescued her actually went into her owner's house, murdered her owner, and stole the dog. But we don't know if that's true or not, because she's being given some medication to help with stress, because something may or may not have happened to her before, and that has affected her memory even more. So dealing with an unreliable narrator for a start, and the fact that they're dogs, and there's lots of fun to be had with it as well. There's a wonderful bit of them trying to remember where the stick was. Which stick? That stick? What stick? Not even sure if they buried it or where it is or who had it last. And it all plays into this idea that dogs can't be trusted to remember things. But then mixing it with the trauma of a real event actually just adds to the the chilling nature of it really effectively. Also worth pointing out that the characters are really well done. They don't have much time to do it because there's quite a lot of dogs and only a few pages to do it, only a few panels each really. But just by having like the way they respond to things, facial expressions, they're doing a pretty good job of setting up who the characters are, even though they're all just dogs. And I really, really appreciate that. There is a lot to like about it, but I can't help but feel that if somebody with an eye for doing slightly more realistic looking dogs had taken over, I'd have enjoyed it more. Thinking of Beasts of Burden, just that the artwork for those dogs looks absolutely amazing. It's just because of that, it just drops it below what I'd like really recommend. If you like the artwork, though, it's going to be everything you want it to be. That's it for me. I'll be back tomorrow because I've got to come in and post some stuff out. I'll do another review. It's probably going to be 2 Moons because that looks amazing. But there is also Nuclear Family by Aftershock, which looks very, very cool. So we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Take it easy. Stay safe. Bye.